Welcome to Freetown, the capital of Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is a constitutional democracy and is home to 6.15 million people. It has an area of 29,925 square miles, which makes it slightly smaller than South Carolina. It is located in Western Africa between Guinea and Liberia.
During the age of imperialism, Britain was in control of Sierra Leone. They were interested in Sierra Leone's natural resources, which were diamonds, titanium ore, bauxite, iron ore, gold, and chromite.
There were many tribes that lived in Sierra Leone before and during the age of imperialism. 35% of Sierra Leone was made up of Temne, 31% were Mendi, 8% were Limba, 5% were Kono, 2% were Creole, 2% were Mandingo, 2% were Loco, and the last 15% were refugees from Liberia's recent civil war and small numbers of Europeans, Lebanese, Pakistanis, and Indians.
British colonists imposed a hut tax to Sierra Leoneans, which is a taxation collected from house to house. The tax could be paid in the form of money, grain, or stock and labor. Sierra Leoneans did not agree with the hut tax war the British imposed on them. They resisted by the hut tax war in 1898, which was the war of resistance to British colonialism. There were two rebellions, one by the Temne, who were led by Bay Bure, and the other one was by the Mendi, who were led by Momo Ja.
The hut tax war was led by Bay Bure. After the British issued a warrant to arrest Bay Bure, alleging he had refused to pay taxes, Bure declared war. The Temne had advantage over the British for many months in the war, but Bay Bure was captured on November 11, 1898, and was sent into exile.
The second rebellion, the Southern Front, was led by Mendi warriors and chiefs. They slaughtered Creole traders and civil servants living in the provinces. Creoles were burned, hacked to death, and women were raped. American and European missionaries were killed in large numbers and raped.
After World War II, the British gave in to nationalist demands in Sierra Leone, and it gained its independence on April 27, 1961.
After Sierra Leone gained its independence, it suffered from political instability, economic stagnation, and social upheaval. It was ruled by 8 different governments, but only 2 were democratically elected. The governments practiced corruption and used the police and army to punish individuals and groups they felt opposed them. The army overthrew the government on 4 occasions, but army leaders used the same corrupt and repressive tactics the government used to stay in power.
Sierra Leone borrowed a lot of money in the 1970s and 80s from European and American tenders. In the 1990s, loans needed to be repaid, but the government did not have the resources to make payments. If the loans were repaid, the payments would take more money than what the country earned from exports. If they refused to make payments, international lenders and donors would refuse to provide money. To make matters worse, international financial institutions developed conditions that African countries had to fulfill in order to get their help. These conditions formed what are called economic structural adjustment programs. These international organizations argue that since African countries were so poor and so much in debt, they needed to greatly reduce their spending. But in lessening its spending, Sierra Leone had to dismiss many people who were working for the government. They also had to reduce the amount of money they spent on social services, such as education and healthcare. As a result, people suffered even more from a lack of jobs and of social services.
In 1991, a former Army corporal, Fidei Sanko, formed the Revolutionary United Front, also known as the RUF. At first, he claimed the RUF was fighting for the average Sierra Leonean, fighting against corruption, political repression, and poverty. However, it soon became clear that these were empty words. The RUF began to use the most brutal of practices. They forcefully recruited children as young as 10 years old and trained them to fight. They addicted these children to drugs to turn them into brutal soldiers. The RUF indiscriminately attacked rural villages, kidnapped children, and cut off the arms, legs, ears, and noses of villagers. Between 1991 and 1999, 75,000 Sierra Leoneans were killed, over 200,000 were injured, and 500,000 Sierra Leoneans fled and became refugees in Guinea and Liberia, and nearly half of the country's citizens were forced to leave their homes to seek safety in other areas of the country.
The RUF was able to fund its brutal war because it was able to gain control of the diamond mines in southeastern Sierra Leone and illegally export these diamonds to neighboring Liberia for sale in Europe and North America. With the profits from the sale of diamonds, Sanko and the RUF were able to purchase the guns and ammunition they needed to keep up their reign of terror on the people of Sierra Leone.
This shows the coat of arms of Sierra Leone. The mountain lions show what this country was named after. The 3 torches represent peace and dignity. The wavy bars at the bottom of the shield represent the sea. The 3 main colors, green, white, and blue, were used to form the flag. The green resembles agriculture and natural resources. Blue represents the harbor of Freetown, and white for unity and justice. And the national motto is shown below.
This is our country, Sierra Leone. Thank you for watching.